good evening, or good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Welcome to the Out of the Box Developer session today. Um, we are here. Today will be a special edition because we won't have Bruno Souza together with us. It will be just me and my good friend Mani Sarkar, Java Champion Specialist, AI Specialist, that I will call in a few minutes, in a few time. And let me see, let me check if there is anyone on the chat. If you are live here, you are online here, please say hello on the chat so I can see you and we can interact with each other. Uh, like we do on every session that we run here on Out of the Box Developers, because we are doing all the session for you. So I see Oliver. Hey, Oliver, good to see you, man. So let me just just call my good friend Money that is waiting on the backstage. And hello, hey Pedro. So hey Money, good
Hello,
evening,
hey
man.
Hugo. How are you? Good to be here
Fine.
again. Another
Yes.
edition of our out of the box developer.
So
Great.
today will be just two of us, right?
I know. I know. I mean, I don't know what you did, and I wonder if you did something that prevented Bruno from joining us. But
No.
in a way, it's a special show where Bruno's not present in person, but I have a feeling he will show up somehow, somewhere on the show. Just let the show roll on, and then we will know in a second or two. And we've
Yes.
got a few people already join in.
Yes.
Pedro, Oliver, Muchuhiko. I'm sorry if I
Mitsuhiko
mispronounced your name.
Takushi.
Takushi. Thank you and welcome. Good to see you here. And I'm hoping you'll have a lot of questions for us. So, Hugo, what do you have in mind today? Because I think you prepared some theme for us, didn't you? You have
Yes.
some ideas in mind, and you want to
Hmm.
take us somewhere in this
Yes.
journey today. Just like every other session, it's a combination of Bruno, myself, and you. We drive the show. Show us what you've got today.
Yes. Actually, we have been this last week's was a very busy weeks because I had a good opportunity to travel with Bruno with many universities and technical schools around São Paulo, where in the state where we do live here in Brazil, and that was an amazing experience that we had regarding to our career, to our development journey. Oh, someone just jumped in here. I was talking here, and let me just uh, call him. I don't know how are you, Bruno?
Hey guys, how you doing?
So
How's
I did say
everything?
a second ago. Hello, Bruno.
Hey,
Can you guys
Bruno.
hear me well?
Yeah. So are you
My
Yeah.
connection might
driving
be.
and are you
Yeah,
driving
right now,
and on video?
right now
Oh
I am
wow.
on. Yeah, we're driving right now. I am. Let me see if I can see this. Yeah, it's too bright over there, right? But yes, but Elio is driving right now.
All right.
So
Okay. I was wondering if you were driving. You're in the back
no,
seat,
no,
which is
no, I'm
better.
not. I'm not
Yeah.
driving. Right. Well, actually,
Okay.
I'm in a little house right here, right? So I'm inside an RV.
Is it like a caravan? Is it?
Yes, it's like a big truck with kitchen and beds.
Huh, great. Well, we were just saying, and when you roll back the video, you will see we were just saying Bruno's not here in person, but he's going to show up somehow, somewhere. Just let the show roll on. And here
Right,
you are a
exactly.
minute later. Hence Pedro saying we were right. So Pedro was saying Bruno will appear from his car home, which he means from your caravan. So great.
It,
We're able to predict the future already.
Yeah, so good to see you, Manny. Long time that we don't talk. So good to see you, Hugo.
Nice to see you as
So
well, Bruno.
yeah,
yes.
I just spent a whole week with Hugo on the same car. Sharing hotels. It was I've seen a lot of Hugo lately.
And yet more of Hugo on the show. We've got another 40 odd minutes of Hugo. So
Right. Yes, that's good. That's good. All right. So no, so thanks for having me here. It's so good to be here with you guys. So, but I'll let you continue.
Yeah, great.
Sure. Okay, thank you. I mean, you're gonna hang
Thanks.
around, right? Are you signing
Yes,
off?
I'm gonna be here with you. Yes. Yeah. No. Go ahead. Yes.
Okay, perfect.
As
Great.
long
You go.
as long as there is signal in
Mhm.
the on the street on the road, I'm gonna be here. I might
Mhm.
drop out at any point, right? So I apologize.
Yeah. No worries.
You know, apologize in advance.
No worries.
No
Cool.
worries, no problem. Yeah, and Mitsuhiko just right here that whoa, a talk on the go. That's wild.
Yes.
It is,
Yes.
and yeah,
Thanks,
we,
Mitsumiko. Right. So, hey,
uh,
Pedro, how you doing? Right. Cool. Yes.
great. And we
I
are
don't know if
just
that's
talking about our travel last week, right? Last 2 weeks, right? We visited a lot of universities, technical schools here in Brazil, and we spent a lot of time together by driving around. Brazil is huge country, right? So we have we have to try drive a lot to get in some places, and it was
Yeah.
great experience. And actually, it was what drive our topic today, that is how to practice soft skills. So I got a lot to learn and share during this trip, and I want to bring this topic to today here to have a little bit of soft skills. What is actually soft skills, hard skills, and how we could practice them. I think there's many nowadays in our career. There are many things that we talk about. Oh, it's important to have soft skills well improve it, and it's a desirable skills nowadays. Many companies already know that. So I think that's the kind of talk that I want to bring together here, and also to share with our audience if they have any questions around that, to bring here, and to share a little bit of what we actually do to practice soft skills at our own. I think that's a good thing to do.
Yes.
I know, money. I don't know if you want to start. If I can start by sharing what we had been during that week. And so, how do you want to start
Yeah,
this
why don't you
discussion?
go? Why don't you go ahead and share with us what you did, what Bruno and you did during the week, in real quickly, and then afterwards you can kick off the topic that you want to share, and then we can towards the end I could share a couple of things that I think about what I wanted to share, which complements the soft skills,
Okay.
well, in a different way. So let's see how that goes, and let's develop it organically.
Yeah. So I agree with money. So you go. Why don't you start, and
Hmm.
then I can do a quick definition of what hard skills and soft skills are, and then money can bring in his experience. That would be good.
Great. Okay. I just say hello from Baslur as well. Hey, Baslur, how are you,
Hey,
man?
Basdor.
I I think that I see Buzzword at some conferences. I'm not sure it was DevOps or somewhere. I see you had been tweeting some of that. Please share with us if you have anything that you want to ask here as well. But well, just to go jump ahead about the events, we were bringing an event that will be running here in Brazil. That is the campus party event that will be on November. And so to give some to bring opportunities to many people that is in a far away from the downtown of São Paulo. We went through a lot of universities that is very far, and actually the farthest university was 600 kilometers from where we actually live here. So it's a really far places. And I okay, Bruno. I think I understand that you are your network won't be the best for sharing cameras. So feel free turn it off. So Bruno went off just on cameras, but he's with us here and hearing us. And well, just going ahead with the experience, we were able to do these visits, visiting into the university to talk about our event and the campus party event, and also to bring some uh, tips about career, how to grow in career, and 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 um, and during this experience of 1 week, we are moving from driving for the whole week, visiting university each day. We are we are driving and visiting different universities, and actually there was a very specific, very difficult thing, or a very unique experience that I had, was to give this talk to those students. There are many young students that I was not used to visit, to talk with, to give some advices, something like that. And I had a lot of difficulties with that. I think that was some. I feel that I missed some skill to actually give those talks, to speak with different people that they are in a different context than mine. They are not someone that is working in our industry for a long time. They are just a new freshmen from uh, some of them just entered the university the computer science or technology, any technology course, and many of them are close to finish that and trying to get their first job into the technology industry. So to be to have this talk, it wasn't as simple as I expected to be. Like I talk with my co-workers here in my company, or people that is below me, but working in the same company. So we had a lot of common problems. So this was something that is very unique. I I thought that I was not. I didn't felt prepared or felt comfortable to talk in that at that time, and made me think about, well, how could I be prepared for that kind of environment? How could I prepare myself to be more comfortable about that environment? And during all these exercises that we did by visiting all those universities many times, it was an intensive week. um, one thing that was very interesting that Bruno actually said to us, and I think he can also give us a quick definition about soft skills, that is regarded to soft skills, is that it was I can have some many tools that can prepare myself to be more comfortable with that situation, but actually if I never went to the university or to that public and talk something, at least uh, a couple of times, I would never get good on that. So that was an interesting thing that we discussed a lot about. Oh, how actually I can't practice that. Actually, I felt that there was that is very difficult, right? If we don't actually do things, uh, it's 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 very difficult to actually improve on that. So uh, we went to a very interesting definition that about practicing soft skills. It's much more about not practicing it actually doing doing that, and doing that in where you feel uh, uh, in a more safer environment, in a place that it won't have big consequences. And so that is the way that you actually practice. It's by doing that, and many times, and to become someone that is very polished on that kind of skills. Like I say a lot of times, Bruno was together with me during the presentations, during the sessions, and I see the difference about his speech and mine. It was clear that it was like a junior and a and a master experienced guy by speaking stuff. It's a much more a sophisticated usage of that environment. So of that skills. So that was very interesting. And yeah, I think that's a great experience for me. I think I could improve a lot. Um, I of course there are many steps ahead to be walking through, but that was a great first step. So I could enjoy a lot.
So Hugo, did you get a lot of questions from the audience? Did they ask you a lot of questions?
Yes.
Did you get a chance to ask them questions?
Yes. There are many questions. Actually, asking questions it was a way to quickly connect with them.
Hmm.
So that is something that I learned with Bruno as well. But um, when you don't know the context of the audience, the best way to connect with them is to understand or to try to extract what is their challenges, uh, current dreams that they are looking after. So that was all things that I could ask them, and in during this conversation, they also gave me a lot of questions that I could so now I can answer something that you are actually interested. So that was a very
Mm-hmm.
interesting
So it was a great way
dynamic.
to break ice. It was a
Yes,
great way to
exactly.
break ice and get connect and also get the message across, right? Because as you said, it's about practice. It's not about theory and conversation and just asking questions, right? It's about putting
Yes,
into a practice. And you said very rightly, safe environment. Today, in the work world, it took me a long time to understand, and I didn't know that there was such a thing, that the work environment must create a safe environment for you to thrive, for you to grow, for every kind of mental well-being and all those things. And not many workplaces know about this and do much about it. There are some who are really serious about it and make great efforts, but there are others who are not. So, and there's a majority of that with this in this world, and hence a lot of people dread to go to work and are not happy about their work. And the impact that has is that those skills of theirs, they get stagnated. They don't get developed. And if they get demotivated, then the skills are the ones that get impacted first, right? Because now you're not using those skills, or those skills are not getting developed. So yeah, I mean, this is a very important topic, because a lot of times, I mean, we grow up, and that's of many cultures in the world, not all cultures, only make us focus on the hard skills. Or you got to go to college, you got to study this, you got to become this. But along with that comes the soft skills, which some people get to practice at home and in their communities and in the schools they go to, and universities and colleges. But the vast majority of us are focusing only on the hard skills, isn't it? So,
yes, that's true.
so was this like a strange topic for the students? Did they get? Were they surprised, or did they take it normally? Did they already know in advance that actually there's something called soft skills and there's something need to focus on as much as on hard skills, and sometimes even more? Because our industry, the technical industry, it's not about technology, it's about people. It's the people problem that we're trying to solve all the time, because that is a bigger building block or a impediment sometimes, as opposed to the technical challenges, isn't it?
And I think Bruno wants to say something.
No, go ahead. Answer his question. I think that's a good question.
Okay. Uh, Before answering your question, Manny, I just want to say a quick hello to Adriel Vieira that he just sent an hello here for us. Hey, Adriel. I forgot to ask if you are where you are from. If you are wherever you are, it's interesting to see from where you are, so I can also connect with you with the place you are. Mitsuhiko already also asked a question, and I think I can go first with the
Yeah.
Mitsuhiko question. that is, you mean a safe environment like a colleague? Yes, a colleague, it's a good place. When I mean safe environment, it's not safe about the risk of being a physical risk. It's much more about uh, the people that you are talking with. They will be more. If you make any mistake, you can correct that. That won't be generate any big consequences. Like if you are giving a talk, representing your company or some bigger conference, bigger event, you are accounted with much more responsibilities. So that is a place that you really, it's good to be much more prepared. It is much more required from us to being talking at these kind of places. So that is places that is uh, one failure, one thing that is misunderstood by the audience won't be will may generate some big consequence to you. So that's something that I believe if you find some place that you are you don't have this heavy duty or heavy responsibility of to improve yourself, to practice actually anything
Mm.
that you are doing, it's a better place to start with. And it's a place that such kind of place that I see that's much more that's how can I say, that's much more welcoming for such practice, right?
So there is a word for it. It's called psychological safety, because
Great.
psychologically, automatically, intuitively, instinctively, you feel safe. The moment you go in that environment, and then that environment doesn't have to be a physical place. It could be a group of people. Like this is an environment here, right? We have a network of three people online, and also a whole network of others who are also online, even though they may not be on video or audio. We create an environment here. It's a safe environment. People can ask questions they like to ask. No one's going to get on their case if they ask a question about soft skills or hard skills or a specific programming language or any technology, right? And they will feel happy if their questions get answered, and they know their questions are going to get answered, so they safely ask questions, and this is the forum for where they feel psychologically safe. So that is meaning that this show is a safe environment, and has been or always a safe environment.
Yes, I was thinking about that word, psychological safety. It is one interesting point. I will go back to the question that Money did, but one thread that I want to push here is about the psychological safety. It is one of the most the biggest reason why people in a study done at Google, I think it was the first reason why people leave some company. It's because they don't feel the psychological safety. They don't feel that they can be in themselves and actually act as they are, they really are. So they don't feel this opening for being themselves inside the company. So that's a big challenge actually, because in our company also that's still creating those environment. It's challenging. It's not just by setting enabling some features or something like that. It's much more by creating a culture, and also uh, driving the people all the professionals in the same collaborative environment, collaborative behavior. So it's very challenging when we get to create psychological safety environments, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, let's gravitate towards the question that we have been waiting to hear an answer from you, Hugo. All the other shares has been great, but
Yes.
let's see what we can how we can unpack that question and see uh, how we can see some of the answers coming out of it.
And yes, your question was about if people who we talked with, if they had this kind of understanding about soft skills, or it was some questions that they raised, right?
That's right. Yeah, if they, because when I started many years ago, it was only mid in the midpoint in my career of the 20 years that I realized, and I was hearing people saying soft skills, the T shape, those kinds of things, the pillars, the widening your horizons, and then those kinds of things. And I was like, wow, I've never heard of this. When I started off my career, I just started writing code. We never thought about hard skills, soft skills, and there's this distinction. So when you hear about it, then it's like a awakening thing, right? What is this?
Hmm.
Why is it important?
Yeah,
What do I need to do about it? So things like that. Were there any questions like that, or what
great.
kind of questions were there?
Yes. And first thing is to understand what is soft and differentiating what is hard skills and soft skills. I think
That's right.
many people here, actually here in Brazil, especially, we hear a lot that soft skills is the communication skills and hard skills is the technical skills. I see that Bruno just turned on his camera, so I think he wants to contribute with the definition. Bruno, you are welcome to, if you are able to talk right now. Yeah.
I'm able to talk. Yeah, but you know, uh, uh, it's just because I think that what Money is asking about, and I think that was a very interesting thing. We can talk about the definition in a minute, but you know, really, you're right, right? This even today, this is still not very well taught inside the universities, right? So students still don't hear about that. Most people don't ever see that there's a difference between soft skills and hard skills, right? There's a lot of things that's clear, not even sometimes not even for the professors, right? And I think that one thing that Mitsumiko asked it before, right, about a safe place being inside the college. Of course, the college is a safer place because you can do, you can take lots of risks inside a college, right? But at the same time, structured education, right? That's what colleges end up giving us, right? It's much easier for people to teach hard skills in a structured environment, right? And so I think it's very normal that we end up learning the hard skills at college, right? Because that's the thing that it's clear what needs to be done. It's clear what needs to be taught. It's clear how to practice and how to do things, right? So I think that a lot of times we end up focusing on technical schools and on universities, focus on the hard skills, um, because that's what they know how to teach, right? And then the soft skills end up being, we have to work on them when on our own, right? When after we leave. And so you're right, Money. This students did not hear about it and did not know the difference of those things, right? So I think that's a problem that we're still having to face. Yeah. So Money
Yeah,
says here.
absolutely. So
Yeah. Go ahead.
So yeah, whilst you've been saying, I didn't want to interrupt your conversation, so I've typed it in
All
the
right. Yeah.
chat. The way I look at it is our whole society, in my upbringing as well, we were only taught about learn this, learn that, become good at this, become good at that, become a profession like this, become that profession while we were growing up. But that was so much focus, almost 80% or 90% on hard skills, right? Because you got to get
Right.
a job, you got to become good in your life, you got to earn lots of money, and all those kinds of become successful. But very much geared towards that success is mapped towards mapped with hard skills. Because if
Right.
you see, if you take another spin from it, IQ is what the whole industry or the whole society is focusing on, right? Because IQ is what all of the things that's around us is based on. The whole university system is very IQ driven, right? Because if your IQ is low, you won't get a low high score. That's how the system has been created, right? But
Right.
does that
Yes.
mean you don't have skills? Right? I will debate that, because lots of people could develop that, and also maybe have lower IQ on a certain thing, but they have other skills, and they may even be better. They may even have better soft skills, but their intelligent quotient may not be as high, and things like that. And so I'm even willing to argue that hard skills may even be mapped to IQ and IQ related faculties, whereas soft skills may be more emotional intelligence related and those kinds of faculties. So it's a topic of discussion. I'm not an expert at all by any stretch on these topics, but let's think about it, right?
Right.
The society is where the universities are sitting in, and they're all focusing on IQ. They're all focusing on hard skills, right? Whereas the society we live in is not giving so much importance in developing soft skills. Very few places, maybe, or much less effort has been put on developing emotional intelligence. Bruno, just a small correction
Right.
there. Is
Yes.
it's EI, emotional intelligence. You could also say emotional quotient, but I think the term is emotional intelligence. But I think the message is clear here. Um,
Right. Yeah. So and actually, Pedro's saying here, people is hired by their IQ, and they are fired by their emotional intelligence. Right.
Intelligence,
So
exactly.
yeah. So um, and 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 I think for me, first of all, one thing that we have to understand that hard skills are usually the things that we really need to do our jobs, right? Things like, for example, a programming language or typing on the keyboard, right? Those are things that can be very structured, and and there's a method, right, for you to teach them. Hard skills are hard because they are technical, right? But a lot of times we think that technical is related to technology, but it's in a way it is a technology, but it's more related to technique, right? Technology comes from technique, right? But hard skills are the skills that you have a technique to do that, right? Uh, um, so for example, a programming language, or I think I use a lot the example of typing on the keyboard, right? Because typing on the keyboard, exactly what the technique that you have to use on the keyboard to be better at typing on the keyboard. Now, the soft skills are things that are way more open-ended. It's where your creativity plays a role, or things that you have to, uh, um, you know, have, like, we call intuition, right? So we have to. There's no real, it's not very clear why you're doing that, but you do that because you have experience with it, right? And so that's the right thing. Those are more the soft skills, right? So, and the interesting thing is that there are very, very important fundamental soft skills on the developer career. So, for example, software development itself is a soft skill, right? Um, you know, Problem solving, that's the big thing that we do, is a soft skill. So all of those things, so soft skills are fundamental for what we do, and I think that's the thing that kind of gets lost in that discussion, because once we think that hard skills are so important that we're going to focus on the hard skills, we end up thinking that soft skills are only communication and only. I get the question all the time, right? Oh, Bruno, uh, um, which is more important, soft skills or hard skills? Or, Bruno, do you think it's important for me to learn soft skills, right? But you know, if you don't learn soft skills, you're never going to be a developer, right? Because soft development is a soft skill. So there's no thing like which one is more important, right? Both hard skills and soft skills are fundamental for you to do your work, right? So I think the biggest problem is not if soft skills are important or not, is don't only focus on the hard skill. That's the thing that we're gonna pass to you, right? And I think that's just kind of getting a little bit, I'm just kind of gonna jump on the gun here because so so people that join right now, I see lots of people join right now. Apologize for the shaking here. It's just because I'm literally on the road, right? So it is shaking a lot. I'm sorry about that. But so one thing that Pedro was talking about here, I know that he was telling his student, right, and especially Mitsumiko, talking about a safe environment. And I think that the biggest difference for me in hard skills and soft skills is the way you practice, right? So hard skills, you have a technique that you practice over and over and over and over until you're good at that. But soft skills, there's no specific technique, right? So then basically, the only way for you to practice is by doing it for real. And I think that's the thing that we're talking about, a safe environment, is that yes, you can do it for real in an environment that's not risky, right? Because that's the big thing, right? So let's think about playing soccer or basketball, right? Those are soft skills, right? The game itself is a soft skill.
Okay, so Bruno's frozen a little bit there, but I'm sure he's going to be back because he's just going through probably a small patch on the road which doesn't have the connection. So I wanted to add to what Bruno was saying is um, that there's one more thing to know here is that hard skills can be learned sometimes on your own. Like you can take a book, you can practice, you can watch a lot of videos, imitate them, and just repeatedly practice, and you can wire those skills into you. And I learned a lot of coding by just watching videos and practicing and repeatedly learning the katas, whereas soft skills cannot be practiced on your own. You need to have a safe environment. Someone needs to create a safe environment, or someone needs to manage, monitor, or moderate a safe environment in which you do whatever you do, and soft skills are automatically practiced there. Like, for example, a community is created to not just exchange hard skills and learn hard skills, but also help everybody develop soft skills, right? Because a community will have a safe environment if the person who created and is running the community creates a safe environment. Like, I know Bruno runs a lot of communities, and this itself is a community, and we are part of Bruno's community, and he has created a safe environment. People from all walks of life, all kinds of developers from everywhere in the world can actually come here and talk about stuff. So in a way, if this environment wasn't created, all our hard skills are pointless and we cannot practice it, because we can have another session in one of the sessions in the future where we actually all connect and share screens and code, right? But if the environment doesn't have the psychological safety where people can come in and say, show their work and get appreciated for it, if it's not so good looking code, they still get constructive feedback, instead of like someone says, hey, we don't want you to come here because your code doesn't look good. That isn't an example of a safe environment, right? That isn't an example of the opportunity to practice soft skills. So I wanted to add that, and I hope everybody in the chat here um can resonate to it if possible. But also, if you have any questions related to it, I think they have actually quite a lot of questions
Yes,
here. Um,
actually, yeah. Let
Yoga,
me,
you might want to start from the bottom and see the ones we haven't been able to answer and pick one or two,
yeah,
because I
let me
think there's
go.
quite a lot of them.
Yeah, let me get it in chronological order here.
Yeah, perfect.
So the first one was from Takushi. Uh, is there an easier way to get feedback from people? So this way I can target more on what I am doing wrong. So what do you think, Manib? Getting feedback from people, easier way to get feedback from people? That's a good question, because uh, not everyone are willing to give a honest feedback when it is necessary, and sometimes we really need to get some feedback that will actually be constructive, that will fix some things that we are doing wrong. So what do you think about that? Do you have uh, any technique to make it possible?
So I have a few ideas, and and there's a bit of an understanding. We need to also understand about people's psychology here, right? When we ask somebody for feedback, depending on the personality of the person, they could be open and say, "Hey, yeah, I have feedback for you." Someone who's always extrovert and wants to come out and some. But depends who asks the feedback, what kind of feedback about what, right? Those are the subjects that need to be also considered. So a question of or the gesture of wanting feedback can sometimes put the other party, depending on who the party is, in a defensive mode, right? They'll suddenly put their guards up, and they may not want to give you that open feedback as they would normally want, right? Want to that you want from them, because useful constructive feedback is what you really want from the other person. So just asking someone, please give me feedback on something, may sometimes not work. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do it. That's one technique, right? So you got to know the psychology, whether the person is an introvert, an extrovert, And for each person, that way of feedback, of requesting feedback, has to be different. But then if you run a university or you run a college, you can't have 50 different ways to ask feedback, right? You have to have some standard way to have feedback. So I think, if at all, if it's possible to set up an anonymous form and just share it with people. Sometimes don't tell them that it's a feedback form, just share them the link. So then they go and click on the link, and then make that form very simple and short, so that in with one or two clicks they can actually select something. It could be something like, today I don't feel great about this subject because, instead of, then they don't know they're giving you feedback. I did not like this particular topic because, and like, make it very useful to get to the point, instead of having a very broad thing like, can you give me feedback on this topic? So we have to get a bit creative with this. So I just threw an idea in here. I know it's not a concrete, refined idea, but try to see if you can play with something like that. Set up a feedback form with very simple text on it, nice color, simple fonts, very few questions, and help them choose from a drop down list of topics that they want to talk about their opinion about something, because opinion can also be taken as feedback, right? And then slowly develop that form further, not too many fields, not too complicated, to the point that you get the feedback you're looking for. So you also want to know for yourself, what am I really wanting to hear from the other person, and how do I get to the point with the other person without losing them with too many questions or too little questions, so that I don't lose out on the information. So there's this, it's a two-way street. You got to understand the psychology of the other person. You cannot lose them. Like, in the first 10 seconds or 5 seconds is crucial. If you don't get their attention in that 5 seconds, they won't give you feedback, or they may not give you honest feedback, or they may not be motivated. The other thing you can really do, if you're running a university, of or your class of students, is, and many workplaces are doing this, is put something called a mood indicator, where people can anonymously go log in there and say, today I don't feel so good, and it's a green, oh sorry, it's a yellow. And today I feel great, and it's a green. And then maybe a small field that says, why do you feel great, or why do you not feel great? And that way you can also see, is this a great time to ask my students feedback? Because if the general consensus of the population is not in the frame of mind, then you can't get the positive or constructive feedback from them, right? So that's one because otherwise you have to just send out feelers to find out, how are my students doing, are they in the mood to give feedback, you see? So there are these different things you got to do, the different tricks, to set up that environment so that the feedback can be received in such a way that is very smooth and seamless and frictionless. That's my fee
Great.
that's my my I that's my view on it. Since you asked, I hope it helps, and I hope you can do it, because it has to also be a practical, simple thing that you can repeatedly do, because you can't do something complicated, because it'll take too much time, and you don't have time the rest of the year, right? You've got other things on the agenda to look into. Hey, Bruno's back. Hey, Bruno, you
Hey
don't need
guys,
to
can you
switch on
hear
the
me?
video. Just audio is good enough.
No, that's good. All right. Well, we're right in the middle of the mountains here, so I think the signal went totally away. So I'm sure you continue the conversation. So I'm just gonna
We
try to jump.
hijacked your conversation. Simple
That's
as
good.
that.
That's all good. That's
Yeah.
all good. That's all good.
Hugo did something there to disconnect you, and I hijacked the conversation.
Perfect. That's
So
good.
we
All
are
right.
doing
So
tag team over here. We are doing tag
yes.
team.
Okay. So you tell me the next questions there because I cannot see the chat right now. But
No
Oh,
problem.
perfect.
But
Hugo,
but
over to you.
yeah, but you're giving the example about soft skills. I don't know if you want to uh, close that about
yeah, I can close
soccer
that.
play.
Yes. If if it's not too disconnected from what you guys are talking about, right? But I think that the most important thing for I can just kind of do this topic, right? So the most important thing for soft skills, right, is the way you practice it, right? And so when you practice hard skills, you can practice the same thing over and over and over until you get very good at that. But soft skills you have to practice on in real life. So that's the importance of the safety, right? Especially what Manny is talking about, the emotional safety, right? The psychological safety,
Psychological safety.
because what is a low risk environment, right? It's a place where you can do something, you can try something new, you can try to get better. And if you make mistakes, that is not a career ending situation, right? you know so that's kind of the environment. So I was reading this story about this trader, right, that was investing in the stock market, and then he made a mistake that cost the company something like $500,000 or something like that, right? So $500,000 that he lost, right, in a mistake. And then someone asked the manager of the company, right, said, and you didn't fire him, right? And the guy said, well, I just spent $500,000 training him, right? So why am I going to fire him, right? And that is the reality, right? This is an environment that promotes psychological safety, right? That you can actually, because a lot of things that we do, guys, they are, I mean, you you cannot learn them, right? You cannot practice them outside of work, right? Things like on big companies, big banks, for example, where you're putting these huge applications online, right? Or even Twitter, right? You have this huge application that have to be upgraded, or have to install a new version, or have to add features to it, right? How can you practice that? You don't practice it, right? Either you do it on real world, or nothing happens, right? So then, and those that's why we have CI/CD, guys. That's the importance of CI/CD, right? That's the importance of testing. Lots of people think that testing or CI/CD is just a way to speed things up, right? No, it's not. It's the way that you can actually do very important things, because you have to have some security that a stupid mistake is not going to destroy everything, right? So
Yeah.
that's what soft skills are. Soft skills, you have to practice them in real life, and
Yeah.
the way to practice them in real life is to practice on low risk situation. So that's what, for example, Hugo went to give those talks to university students, right? He was not practicing talks, he was giving talks, right? And so, but in a low risk situation, if you made a mistake, he's going to
We may be losing Bruno again. That's
Yeah,
okay.
I think
Mm,
he's shifting from
yeah.
the
Okay.
cell
So
tower. Okay,
so
but
maybe this is a good time, you go to pick another question in the chronological order, the next best one that we can
yeah,
answer
yeah,
while
but
Bruno comes back.
yeah, but I just want to connect what Bruno was saying with the previous question from Takushi. It's
Mhm.
to get feedback. It's the same way for the people that you want to get feedback. It was to show that they are in a safe, uh, in,
Yeah.
give them safety to actually give you a feedback that won't have any big consequence or concerns for them. So
Mhm.
since I'm managing a lot of people in the company, I really have to create this kind of environment. So they, if I want to get some feedback from people that is below me, that is working with me but below my position, they they probably won't give me any bad feedback if they don't feel open enough to do it. If they feel that, oh, if I say something bad, I will get some bad consequence as well. So they will never share to me. So and that's a way that I believe also it's much more difficult. It's not a steps to create safe environment. It is much challenging. It depends a lot on the people that on your environment, work environment, and how you actually close to the people that you want to get this feedback. But it's a one way that you can get it. And I just want to show also from Basler, he said that yes, I would agree. It's not a question. Actually, it is when we were talking about soft skills and hard skills. So yes, I will agree with it. I do possess some technical know-how, but I don't think it was uh, of it as a competitive advantage. he also says that that's why I place a premium on soft skills, which have been crucial to my career mode success this far. Yeah, yes, Buzzword. I think
Yeah,
that's
absolutely. I agree with that, because nobody will remember so much. I mean, they will, that you wrote really well formatted code, and it was perfect, and very well designed, and you followed all the DDD concepts and all the Bob Martin concepts, and refactoring techniques. But they will definitely remember that you were a great mentor, or you were a great pair in a pairing session, and you were a great person who shared knowledge and shared your skills and experience with the other person in a very amicable manner, and empathetically understanding the other person, and downloading that information onto them. They will remember all those things, because that's what they will carry on as their skill, as their memory for the skills that they develop over a period of time, and not the specifics of what you are good at, but specifics of how you've passed on that good that you have onto other people. So that's where the soft skills come in, right? To There are so many angles to it. I mean, we can't cover them all here, but yeah, a plus one on that one, a big plus one.
and a question from Takusha. It's that's a tough one. I believe since the current education system is not teaching us soft skills, what is the best way for us to learn those? So that, I think that is the main topic that we want to discuss here. And yeah, money. If you want to start, feel free to.
Hugo is very smart. He will ask all these questions, and then he'll pass the baton over to me. I like it. Thank you for
Okay.
giving me the opportunity. It's always good to able to put my views forward, whether they're correct or wrong. We will decide uh, collectively. So actually, we did kind of give hints about this in our previous conversation we just had before Bruno jumped in. I think the best way to learn these is to do it in a community fashion, in a community. So if you're in a college or a university or a workplace or in your local user group, those are places where you can practice soft skills, right? How do you do that? Basically, create an environment where people can come and contribute, maybe give a talk or share their experiences, or discuss some topic, or there's so many things. And when you encourage people, and you allow them to come forward and present something, or talk about something, or express their opinions, or start a discussion, you're already creating. And yes, they will do that as they will see fit, because if the environment doesn't feel psychologically safe, you'll see they're not coming forward. Okay, there's an element that has to do with them as well individually, but there's an element to do with the environment. So yes, it's a hard question to answer in the sense, and also a hard problem to solve, is because there is some effort that needs to be made to create that psychological safe environment where you can practice anything, whether soft skills or hard skills. And so, starting a community and running these sessions in the community, whether it's online, offline, doesn't matter, and encouraging people to come forward and discuss. We like, for example, we hear what Bruno has done with myself is we created this out of the box developer sessions, and we've created an open space, psychological safe space where all of you come every day, not every day, but every session, to come with your questions and opinions, and you're not afraid to say anything or ask anything. And you're always happy with some of the answers, all of the answers we give you, right? So this is an example of how to practice soft skills: is create an environment where people feel safe and they can come forward and express themselves, share their opinions. We are not developing all the soft skills here, but we are working towards it. So that's going to be my hint, and I'm not an expert in this topic. So we have to creatively take this idea and expand it further. And the more you keep working on it, the idea will get developed better and better.
Yes, and while you're talking, I think that as we said before, soft skills is something that we actually uh, we don't have the practice of such soft skills. We have to actually do that.
Yeah.
So having places, if you are a developer and we have to create a software the best way to practice the software development is to actually develop some software. So that's one way. And for this to have this spread your idea to someone, that's something when you find some place like communities. I had the opportunity to participate in the local community for front-end developers, and they are very nice, and I could actually contribute with them, not just with code but with content, creating content and sharing what I was doing and what the challenge that I was facing. So that's some places that we can find ways to actually do our soft skills and actually improve them. Inside the company, I think when I'm in the company, I think there's if you have a way to, you don't have to actually do the software of the company to practice something inside that. You can always join some people that have some common interest in, I don't know, some topic that you actually have, and join forces. It was never I can't say for all the companies, but at least where I work, and I think it's very common in all the places. It was not. We are not limited to just work on what we on the tasks that we do. We can also connect with our coworkers and have some interesting things together, and always create this kind of environment. So that's always a welcome place to actually do stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So, should we jump on to our next question if we think
Yes,
we have decently answered this one?
I
Um,
think here Adriel said very good. Pedro Cavallero said that uh, today in turn, the soft skills is what makes people like to work with you, not the hard skills.
yep,
Actually, yeah,
absolutely.
I
Very
think
spot
both
on.
both are good ways to connect with people, right? I think that not just soft skills. I think we also have to need both to have a good work, and everyone likes to work with someone that does good work. So that's
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. So, but although people will remember you more for
yeah,
your soft skills than for your hard skills, because people may forget your hard skills, but people will remember you for your soft skills. Being the people we are very people oriented and emotional people. We'll remember emotions better than we'll remember intellect or intelligence or knowledge. Cool. Thank you
cool.
for the answer. You're welcome, Takushi. I hope we have given you some hints, food for thought for you to take this further and work on it and develop it further and come back to us and let us know what the response has been or what your feedback has been, what your experience has been.
And Adria also very important soft skills. There's no way out in today's world.
Yeah.
And yeah,
All right.
and I just want to say hello to Jose Damion. He just joined us. Hey Jose, how are you?
Hello,
And
Jose.
if you want to talk from where you are, it would be great for us as well to know to know with who we are talking with. And
Hmm.
yeah, I think that we went through the chat.
It looks like we have successfully answered all the questions, if not most of them. I mean, keep pouring in. I mean, we've got still a couple of minutes. I think we can taste. I mean, as your questions come in and as interesting they get, we will be happy to expand on them. So don't be shy. You know, and any moment Bruno might jump in back again when he passes through the other mountain where the connection is better. So don't wait for it, but let's take that opportunity and discuss other things whilst he's trying to connect back. Is there anything we might have not covered from anybody here? Because it seems everybody has almost finished
Yeah,
asking their questions.
we went through all the questions today, Mandeep, and I
Mhm.
think one question that I wish to bring here
Mhm.
maybe is to to share for our audience what kind of what is the biggest challenge for you when we talk about soft skills, when we have to actually improve on some soft skills? I don't know about you, Manny, but for me, finding this environment was the first thing that I had to figure out. And actually, I had this great opportunity with Bruno, so I could actually talk about bring some content, connect with people that it was not my target audience, and that was really really challenging for me, and that was an amazing experience as well, because I think I was in a bubble, in a comfortable place that and I never challenged myself by trying to speak with younger people about the things that is important about your experience, and so on. So that was great, and that was also finding this kind of environment was very challenging for me. And about you?
Mm. Good question. So I think I it took me some time. I mean, I was always happy to know people and like them, and you know be positive with them. But that was not enough actually, but because there would be some situations where something subtle is required, and you have to develop that, and hear that from other people, right? For example, now I hear these from other people, and I'm trying to develop and work on it, and I have been for some time. Is empathy, right? It's very subtle, and it is difficult to know how far it goes, but you have to be empathetic towards people and situation, because there's always the other side that we don't know about. And if we take that out of the equation, then we missed out on that component, and our response may look like a reaction, and maybe we may not come up with a positive response. So that's been something, and it's very tricky and difficult, right? Because our mind can sometimes go towards negative ideas that'll come in the way of understanding the empathy component in the process, right? Because we are only seeing a small part of the other person's action or gesture, whereas we don't know the root cause behind a whole series of them. It could be their background, it could be what they are experiencing recently, it could be what they did in the morning or afternoon because of which they turned like this. And this could be a whole series of things that could lead for them, for the other side to respond or behave or put a gesture in a certain way. So that's one thing I'm still thinking about and working on. uh, by no stretch I'm an expert in it, because it's a topic on its own. We have a question here. Could you
Yeah, we
please
have
mention
one
the top
question
three?
here.
uh,
Yeah.
oh wow, they put us on the spot, right?
Yeah. So the question was, could you please mention top three soft skills you normally look for on people? Well, um, when for me, at least when we are, I'm interviewing people, or I'm looking for someone to work together inside the company, or any other project that we are working together. I think there are three things. I don't know if I have three things, but one thing that I see is the problem solving skill. Is a soft skill that I see in many people that is able to actually uh, find something, and how can I say, it's to uh, not consider to solve the problem, but to replicate something that they seen from another place. So that's very different ways that I see people doing solving stuff here, and a big difference for who have these problem solving skills and who have to develop it somehow. And another thing that I see a lot is the way that people have this collaborative minding. I think that's something that adds a lot in the team. when instead of looking for the only for the root cause of the problem, trying to find a solution that is collaborative, that can bring some up some solution. And well, the third one maybe I don't know. I haven't thought ahead, but I think listening is a very important skill
Hmm.
that most of people sometimes in our industry it's very common that there are many people that love to speak out, but they don't have the skill to actually listen and try to this empathy that money just said, to create this empathy, to understand the other side. I think that's an amazing skills that who have I respect a lot. And how about you, money? I have to bring some three three
Well,
soft
well,
skills that pop out.
I think you covered. I think you covered the important ones. For the kind of work we do, we got to be collaborative. We definitely have to listen to the other side, and that is very broad topic. Like, what is the meaning of listening? It is also understanding, not
Oh,
sometimes listening, understanding, trying to understand, because that's part of the next step to that connects the listening to the empathy is the understanding, right? And which becomes this, all of it is actually maybe one skill instead of three different skills. And because if we don't have that understanding, then we are not connecting with empathy, right? Because just listening is like, I'm listening to you as well, but if I listening is like, if you have a problem or you are trying to solve something and you had a challenge, and because of which you couldn't complete a certain task, and then I got to listen to you and see why that something has happened, right? Why is that happening? Is it happening only once, or is it happening regularly, right? Or is it happening now and then, and it's only happening with you, or is it like a whole bunch of people facing it? So I can be just, and how can I help you, or I can how can, and things like that. Um, so I think you mentioned them: collaboration, empathy, uh, listening. Uh, for the kind of work we do, these are super important, because the other skills will automatically develop and gravitate around these skills, because these skills are attractors of the other necessary skills, right? And it is also so that this is what I think is that um, we all try to name these top three skills, but these are not fixed in stone, right? For every person, situation, group, there will be a slightly different list, a slightly different order, right? In some places, listening, collaboration, empathy is super important, but in other places, the order in which they are important might change, and maybe something else might come in, right? Somewhere it might be more important to do something and communicate it, right? And sometimes you have to do it individually, and you cannot collaborate with some of those things, right? You can take, for example, a carpenter or a shoemaker. uh, they can they got to work on that piece of thing on their own. Okay, they could have parts of it built by other people and then they assemble it, but in many times they have to just work on their own on those components, right? They cannot have parts of it built and then exchange, like how we do with software, right? It's so malleable that it's not like how a carpenter or a tradesperson would build something, right? Like I could always create something, create a pull request and pass it on to you. So what I built, I pass it on to you very easily in seconds, whereas with other people who are working with hard components, it's not going to be easy to do them, right? So is collaboration an important soft skill in that trade? We don't know. Is communication an important component? It is, but not to the extent it is with software, where we are actually very collaboratively developing something, isn't it? So that's how I would put it. So I could name the same soft skills in a different order, and that is the top three for me. But for every environment, for every group, that order might change, and some new things might come in that order. So it might be two of them might be the same, and the third one might be something else, or one might be the same, and the other two might be something else, and the priorities and the order might be something else. So that's my take on this question. I hope, Takushi, if this is helpful and satisfies your eagerness to know about this question.
Yeah, and I think you just make clear how complex it is, right? There is no top three skills that is actually global for everyone. It's a very complex, it's a very unique set of soft skills that we have each individually developed in a very in different groups and different tasks that we have to do. So yeah, that I think that's why it's so I think so evident this kind of topic when we are talking into the company. We bring a lot this kind of discussion because there's no one way one way solution to that. And
Absolutely, absolutely.
I just want to share also a buzzword said to us here. The main difficulty, I suppose, is thus for an introvert individual to initiate a conversation. I'm getting better at it, but it's still an issue. And and yeah, I think not. I think introverts as well have a lot other many other soft skills well developed. So and yeah, of course, the for introverts, I think the biggest challenge is to being to to communicate with others, to being in a position that they actually have to be and not very comfortable, right? Because they have to improve their communication skills and anything else. But remember that soft skills is not just about communications. A whole group of skills that is actually not it is malleable. It is soft like software. We have to respond on a very different ways every time that we have to actually do that. So and actually like software development, I believe that is a soft skill that uh, even introverts have developed it a lot or have it improved a lot.
Hey, Bruno. Hey, Bruno has joined us. Hello, Bruno.
Ah,
He's
he's
part of
joined.
the audience now.
Okay, he's joined it on the chat. He just
How are you doing, Bruno? Good to see you here.
I will
Do you
participate
have Do
here.
you have any questions for us? Please share your questions with us.
And well, I think
Tell us where are you from, Bruno? Which part of Brazil you're from? Or just now, where are you in Brazil? Whilst you're driving through the mountains.
which mountains, right? Yeah, I think we are getting also close to the end here, Money, and I just want to bring the
You're right. Yes.
buzzword comment here also. Be able to listen with empathy. Be able to articulate an idea in a written format. Be able to speak with audience and to convince when required. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
great. That's great soft skills to uh,
Yeah.
to
Whilst Basil mentioned this, and great Basil, thank you for sharing this, because one thing that came to my mind is almost 10 years ago, I joined the London Java community, and the persons who were running the communities, the leaders there, they're very much into uh, creating an safe environment where you could come with a topic and speak about the topic. And they were very much into mentoring people to become speakers. I remember in 2015, I gave my first talk in Sofia off the back of one day's almost 3 hours or 2 hours of workshop that was run by the leaders in the London Java community. And just on the back of that workshop, I went and gave this talk in Sofia, and it was actually a talk with with a little bit of a hands-on session as well, where I was running some program and showing them how to build OpenJDK, and from start to finish we had slides and we had other artifacts. So it was doing all of that helped develop a lot of soft skills as well, right? Because you break yourself out of a bubble by presenting to an audience, and you have to face so many challenges, and you have to take into account so many different things. The whole process helps you become aware of not just your hard skills that you're presenting, but also a lot of the soft skills that takes shape as part of a public speaker, as part of a person who's presenting to an audience, whether it's an online audience or an audience, in-person audience, or a mixed audience. So if anybody is still wanting to understand and know how can we develop soft skills, is I would suggest that start trying to go into communities and present, whether it's an online as presentation or an offline presentation. You can start really one step at a time by writing blog posts, and once you've done that, then you start presenting those blog posts and presenting topics that you like and the topics you're good at, and then that'll keep rolling and help you develop the soft skills that we've been talking about here.
Great, great. And Bruno just answered us.
Okay, all right.
He is from
Thank you,
Brazil,
Bruno.
born in Brasilia, the capital, and but lives in São Paulo. São Paulo.
All
Thanks,
right,
Bruno.
thank you, Bruno.
And
Okay,
yeah,
so Hugo, it probably just yeah,
yeah,
you could read this comment, and then maybe you should do a little bit of a closing here.
yes, yes. So, yeah, I think Basler is saying to Bruno, Bruno constantly moves so he knows his speed or position, but not both. Okay. Did you hear that, Bruno?
No, Bruno's passing through some mountains now, so we'll get his next message after he's passed through
After
that
his
mountain.
best. So, just to close our session today, do you have, as a tradition on our session, we
Hmm.
always bring some book or some content that we want to share to people, to the audience, as part of the out of the box developer
Hmm.
tradition. So, uh, Money, what do you bring to us today?
Okay, so this is this book. It's sitting on my shelf called Seven Habits of Highly Effective People, and I'm going to share that link here. It's available on Amazon. I think there's a
Uh,
Kindle version of it as well, if I'm not mistaken. But there's actually an audio CD version of it as well. Um, I have the paperback version. I prefer that. I like to share this with you so that as part of soft skills development.
Actually, I bring the same book, money. We should
All
have.
right. In the Brazilian version. Did you want
Yes,
to
the Brazilian
recommend this?
version.
So the one I'm recommending is an English version, but you could also go for the Brazilian version that Hugo is sharing with us. The point is that those habits are common all across, irrespective of what language you read it in. And yeah, you might have ideas of other habits, but um, I think it's good to have those. So there are some other books related to habits, but I think this one is a good start. It's not a very thick book, um, and it looks friendly, so I think you'll go through it. Have you already started reading it, Hugo?
Yes, yes, I read it, and I think my opinion is the same. It's a great book to start. Um, I think Dr. Covey he brings a lot of knowledge here that is related to what we are talking today here. So and also in a very in a way that we can read. Without going so deep, but also being very broad in ideas. I think he brings a lot of things to help us organize our ideas. So I recommend a lot. I like it a lot to read the book, and for you that want to go further with the topic, I really recommend it. I really like it
Great.
to read it. So
What do you have to contribute as a book for this session, Hugo? Now that I have done my part here.
oh, I will contribute with the Brazilian Portuguese version of the same book. So,
That's a little bit cheat. That's a little bit cheating there, Hugo. I thought you will have a separate
okay,
unique. Mm.
let's see. Well, you put me on on corner now. So I think for related to soft skills, I think. Um, Speaking broad, I like this one also. That is 21 lessons. I also already bring it before, but I think it's not a rule to not bring the same book twice. So
No,
I like a
it's all
lot.
right.
Yes, 21 lessons for the 21st century. So
Mhm.
I think the version. I don't know if you have the link already here.
I do. Yes, yes.
Okay,
21 lessons
I
for
think
the 20th century, 21st century, right?
yes, and why I'm talking about it, since we are talking about soft skills, it's much more related to people, right? So all of these are how can I say uh, all these soft skills relies a lot on on relation with people and how this society works and this book gives us a good idea about where we are going, what kind of things that what kind of concerns that is much more broad, not just as individuals but uh, a group of people, as a society, right? So that's a good book to also have some different thoughts and brings a lot of. It's a easy book to easy to read and give a lot of ideas and a look for the present concerns that can evolve in the future in very different ways. So that also brings me a lot of new insights, and I think that's a good one. and and Bruno also shared a book here. Let's see what Bruno have here to share to us.
Okay. What book does Bruno have to share with us?
The Talent Code and its companion, The Little Book of Talent. I like that. Uh,
Hmm.
there is one so much. I
I like
like that
that.
so much. I like that so much that I wrote the little book of speaking talent. Great, great, Bruno. Thank you. Let's see. Money, did you find the link for to share for our audience?
I think he's got three books in one share, if I'm not mistaken. The talent code is one, so I'm going to share that right away.
Yeah.
Um, so the talent code. Okay, so today we have some interesting books being shared. The other one is called The Little Book of Talent. Okay, so let's get that one as well. And the third one, The Little
The
Book of
third one
Talent.
is Bruno's the little book of speaking talent.
Hmm.
It's one that I think I'm not sure if I have the link for the book.
Is it published
Uh,
somewhere like Amazon or something like that?
No, no, I think not. I think Bruno, if you're hearing us and you know your
So, no, Bruno is not going to be able to join us. I just saw a message from him. He's not going to be able
okay,
to join us because he has a choppy connection now.
okay. So, but we can go with these two books that he shared with us, the Talent Code and the Little Book of Talent. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I think they're good enough for now, and
Hmm.
we will have Bruno share his version of the book that he has written. Uh, and I think it might be from the title itself. It seems like it's a book that you would read or use to improve your speaking or
Yes.
communication skills. So let Bruno do the sharing because he has access to the link wherever that link is, whether it's online or it's just a blog post or something else or a PDF that he
Okay.
might.
We'll give the opportunity to share in the next session. No problem.
Yes, either that or he could share it on social media on the back of the
Yeah.
link to the video to this session here. Cool. All right. So should we do a bit of a closing now? I think we've gone 20 minutes over our
Oh,
usual 1 hour session, but I'm thinking that everybody who has signed up here is enjoying. And if they're still with us, then they're happy to hear the closings before we close. I'll hand that over to you, Hugo, and then I'll take it on
Okay.
from you.
So thanks everyone. Thanks for joining, and I hope you enjoyed the session. And yeah, I hope to see you all on the next session. So thanks, Manny. Thanks all.
Thank you, Hugo, and thanks to the audience for being with us. Yet another session, making it successful, sharing your questions, sharing your views, and taking this topic seriously. And as usual, you always, it is the community that runs this session and not us. We're just moderators here, and we hope to see you again soon. If not in 4 weeks, maybe in 2 weeks. Thank you again and have a great rest of the weekend.
Great. So bye bye.
Bye bye. See ya.